this economy, to me, is pretty much you either can make money through the computer or you can't. You're either doing a 9 to 5 job, you're going to college, you're doing that racket, or you can be a content creator and try to make it that way. But I'm going to be honest, it's just like anything else. I mean, how many people want to be like Pearl? There's only one. How many people want to be like you? There's only one. I pretty much handicap my industry. I own my place. I own my fucking field. No one listening to this even knows the name of another numerologist. That's a fact. But not everyone's going to be able to make it with computers, and I'm getting really worried about AI. I really believe that what you talked about, that little wrecking point, is coming real close, because sooner or later these AIs are going to put everyone out of business. Truck drivers, how do you have a capitalistic society if the very bottom doesn't have income? I mean, that's the reason slavery was ended. Slavery it wasn't ended in 1860s because the white man picked up a conscience. Slavery was ended because they needed capitalism. How do you have capitalism and slavery? You don't have it, because a lot of people don't understand this, but during those times in the South, 95% of the white folks during slavery were poor as hell too. How are you going to have a job that pays a living wage when you have slave labor to compete with? Well, that's why they stopped slavery, because they couldn't have a capitalistic society with slavery. That's why it stopped. Mm-hmm. You need a viable middle class for capitalism to work.
So I wonder if we're going to start getting things like handmade again. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like the quality of like tables, like everything that we have has gone down. This is just, I was thinking
that's because of free trade.
What?
See, that's because of free trade. See, what happens is, back in the day, say for instance, the American workers were at the steel plant, and it cost them $10,000 to make a certain piece of equipment.
Right.
Well, all of a sudden, the people in China, people in Vietnam are actually doing the same stuff for $3,000-$4,000. So all of a sudden, all these people are like, well, wait a second, let's fire these Americans and start outsourcing everything. That has a trickle-down effect. Mm-hmm. Sooner or later, the people at the middle start losing their jobs, and all of a sudden the economy starts becoming like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just wondering if maybe I had a couple theories. I was like, well, maybe a lot of women's jobs will be eliminated. And then we'll be back. Like the
oldest profession in the world is not going to get eliminated anytime soon.
Oh, what are you talking about? That cam work, the AI chicks, the sex bots, they're coming.
Yeah, but I refuse to believe that.
That's very homosexual, by the way.
What's that?
Anybody who is going to indulge in the AI girlfriend is gay, because those are built by men. Men are building products that are fondling you. That is homosexual.
Brother, there's men out there who have girls who are getting run into 4 or 5 times a week, and then they're going down on them. So you want to talk about homosexual behavior, bro? That's right there. You're essentially, let's talk about Logan Paul. His girlfriend has been around, or the wife that's going to take his bag in a couple years has been around with Leonardo DiCaprio, a whole bunch of other guys.
Oh my gosh, Leonardo DiCaprio.
You know what I'm talking about?
Leonardo DiCaprio is like the kiss of death on these relationships, because I realized Giselle,
once they're 25, they're out.
No, I'm saying like he curses these women's relationships because Giselle dated him too. Giselle Bundchen. I was like, I hope Blake Lively makes it, because that's another ex that graduated.
But dude, the AI shit is just revenge of the nerds, right? It's the nerds have been shit on by women their whole life, so now they have the opportunity to kind of get their clap back, their comeuppance.
Well, I think Jeff Bezos was coming up like a nerd, but ever since he got his big bag, he doesn't look too much like a nerd anymore.
No.
The problem with Jeff Bezos is, he basically got a big bag and he dumped his woman. And I don't know what to tell women and men except to learn numerology and astrology. Learn who you're compatible with. Learn who you're not compatible with. It's going to save you so much trouble in life. I mean, you spoke about Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen's born in 1965, the year of the snake, and he married Denise Richards, born 1971, year of the pig. Pig and snake are enemy signs. What about the kids that they brought into the world? They're going to have a fucked up life because these people didn't take the time to understand how numerology and astrology works. I mean, listen, if I was married 4 or 5 times, you guys can invalidate everything I said. But the fact of the matter is, I've been at this for 2 decades. 2 decades. No issues. People need to turn back, not to God, in my opinion. I understand what you're saying, Malik, or all this other stuff. Start turning back to knowledge. Start turning back to what actually works. Again, I tell people all the time, millionaires might not use numerology and astrology. Billionaires do.
I want to ask you, how do you manage it so that you get kids who are born in the right time?
No, you basically have to time it out.
How do you time it?
Well, for instance, I wanted a kid born in a snake year, and that was 2013. That's when my kid was born. But I was married in 2004. I waited 8 years. I planned this out. And by the way, guys, my woman don't take birth control pills. You guys, you red pill motherfuckers fucking complain about women all the time. They're emotional. They're crazy. And then you're fucking stuffing pills down their fucking throat because you can't pull out? That's beta as fuck to me. That's beta as fuck to me. Have some fucking pull-out game, motherfucker. That's what you guys need to do. So, going back to what the hell you were saying.
I can't.
9 months. Oh, you can't? Well, that's why you got Hubby.
No, my thing is this, is that, we're made to be. We're made to be.
Be what?
To just be. We're not supposed to be pulling out, doing that. You're supposed to have sex and reproduce.
Yeah, but...
So what I'm saying is this, how are you going to do it in such a way?
I couldn't afford kids in 2004, 2005, 2006. And the last thing I'm going to do is bring a child in this world in poverty. I wasn't going to do that. I was broke in 2006, 2007, 2008. I was not bringing a child in this world while I was broke.
The thing is, poor people tend to have more kids. It's like a whole psyop, this, you need a certain amount of money to have children. My friend, we kind of broke down. We did an episode on this on my show. I don't know how broke you were, so maybe that was it. But I do think there's a lot of propaganda telling people they can't afford kids. When if you homeschool the kids, if you really just need low food costs, low clothes costs, and then you can hand them down. My friend's a stay-at-home mom that kind of broke this down.
I had a felony. I hit a cop in 1998. I couldn't get a job.
Yeah.
So it was it would have been very, very difficult. By the way, this is before numerology, so I try to hear how come you didn't see this coming. Okay, this is way before numerology.
Right.
So no.
Well, I'm not saying for you, but I kind of understand the religious point of view behind it, because you're kind of playing God when you're pulling out birth control. You're
well, if you're pulling out, how are you playing God?
Because again, you're
not supposed to.
You're not supposed to.
What do you mean you're not supposed to? Well, hold on
What's
a second.
Purpose?
What are you supposed?
What's the purpose of having sex?
If
you're going to be pulling out.
What's the point? You're gonna have 20, 30 kids? I can't afford 20, 30 kids.
Well, people used to do it. My
20, 30?
Well, I'll give you an example. So my dad is the son of a fireman, and on a fireman's salary, they had 13.
13 kids.
And so, feminism really, this is all part of feminism. It's to get married in your later to late 20s and have 2 kids. 2 kids is feminism.
Okay, I'm gonna make this abundantly clear. If I had to have 20 to 30 kids, hang me right now. Okay, you can hang me right now because I ain't dealing with that stuff. That's too much for me. Other people might be able to do it. Other people... that's fine. But I'm not doing it.
Right, but my point more is that 100 years ago, the average was 5, and before that, it was even more. So it's and we have a higher standard of living now than we did 100 years ago.
Because we have less kids.
Well, yeah, partially, but the thing is, people used to kind of make it work. People used to do hand-me-downs. They used to do, you eliminate a lot of costs by not buying new clothes. But, my friend got chickens, right?
I got you.
There's ways around this stuff.
There's ways to do it, but is that the type of life you want to live?
Well, I mean, that's the, but wait.
The quality of life matters, right?
Well, I mean, not always. Like a lot of
quality of life doesn't matter.
Not always, because it's not about you. Is the point? It's about the family. It's about reproducing as much as possible. Like, you know, in certain cultures, right?
How many kids do you want?
I mean, I always said when I get married, it's just as meant. Like, I've never wanted to like plan it. Like, I've just wanted, once I'm married, just see what happens. I think, you know, I've always thought 4. I think maybe I probably waited.
4?
Yeah, you know, but I think I maybe
you better get started.
I know that was the problem. I was like, I think I waited too long, unfortunately. But, you know, we'll see. Hopefully, you know.
4? I mean, I'm cool with 2.
Yeah.
I'm cool. I'm packing up shop. I'm done. And by the way, the highlight of my day is when I'm home and when I wake up and the kid comes in the morning, gives me a hug, and says, "Daddy, I love you." Well, that is the highlight of my day. Everything after that is downhill.
Well, I'll tell you one thing, too. It's also leading to a lower IQ population because richer people have less kids. So the population...
But just because they're richer doesn't necessarily mean they have higher IQs.
Yeah, but it correlates. Like, that's the number 1 indicator of lifelong success is IQ. Number 2 is...
I know plenty of smart people who are broke.
No, I understand there's exceptions, but we're talking about general trends, right? And people that are smarter tend to make more money in general.
I mean,
so it's leading...
There's a lot of women right now who are making a lot more money than men, which you said before. So what that basically says is, no, not the smarter people are making it.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about women is that is another problem, is that women make more money and then we don't reproduce. So a lot of higher IQ, I would say a lot of higher IQ women don't reproduce.
Yes, that would probably be a big problem because they've been brainwashed by feminism.
Right. But
what's it, 90% now college-educated women initiate divorces?
Not that when they do divorce, they do initiate it. Yes, yes.
Of course.